folks? I am Ultrazilla, and this is an Ultrazilla Live. And tonight, I finally have a special guest. It's been a while. I've been saying I'm going to start doing this again for months, but just hasn't worked out. Well, made it work out this time, because tonight we got a fellow Kong enthusiast, Mr. Captain McKay Random. What up, dude?
What's going on?
Welcome to Ultrazilla Live.
Thank you. Glad to be a part of it. This is, it's always fun to talk Kong with anybody who will listen and most people who won't. But happy to be here.
Well, good to have you, man. If you guys don't know, I actually recently sent Captain here a Kong, Bandai.
Look familiar to you? Yeah, this guy here. I like this one. Really cool. So much appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate, and it's good to have you live here because you always do stop by the lives, which is nice. But we said we were going to do this a while back because I was like, you know what? After Godzilla vs. Kong comes out, I definitely want to talk to you about like various like Kong toys, various Kong incarnations. Just get your take. You got a Kong shirt on now.
Wore the finest I could. I knew I was going live. I'm like, well, if people on the internet are going to see me, I want to put my best foot forward here.
I got you, man. Yeah, it looks good. And you had a Kong stop motion part 2.
Yes, this is the
stop
second
motion you're working on that went up on your Instagram today. I had a Kong review today, so we made it work today. We worked the Kong today.
The Kong fans are all happy out there
if
they're paying attention to what we're doing.
So let's see who we got in the chat. We got a Shadowzilla Collector 21, a Louis Toys Adventure, Gary Jacobs, what's up? Luminous, what up? The Squidwick class, how you guys doing tonight? Thanks for coming by. We're going to be talking a lot of things besides Kong. Cap, why don't you start out with telling my zillions all about Captain McKay?
Well, my YouTube channel, Captain McKay Random, it started probably about 10 years ago. It's a stop motion action figure, just hobbyist enthusiast channel. I do a lot of animation and stuff on my Instagram as well at Captain McKay, one of which just went up today. It's the Kong one that we mentioned a few minutes ago.
We're gonna take a look at that here, guys. So no need to run away. Yeah,
don't rush. Go check it out afterwards if you want to, go see more stuff like that. But I'm looking forward to screening it here and seeing how people react. But a big Kong fan. Kong kind of started it all for me. Like when I was a kid, watched Kong, and that got me into the stop motion animation and the giant monster stuff. So I have a lot to thank Kong for in my life. So been figure collecting and building dioramas and just making stop motion videos and stuff like that. It's always been something I like doing. So it's cool that people are interested in that kind of stuff.
What would you say is your main thing to do? Do you like the stop motions, the dioramas, or the reviewing? For
me, I think I get the most enjoyment.
Is there a 4? Is there a 4th choice?
There's probably like 20. I can't keep my head together a lot of times, but like I like the stop motion stuff a lot just because it's different. Like a lot of people, there's a lot of people who do it, but it's few and far between, I think, when you compare it to like maybe some other like toy channels and different things that you'll see on Instagram where like straightforward, reviews or photography or different things. And there's a lot of people that are great at all that stuff. And I don't know that I'm in that category for like awesome reviews or anything like that. I'll review stuff here and there just to put something on the channel in between my animation. And if I think I have anything interesting to say about it, the animation stuff I think is where I really enjoy doing it the most. And the dioramas and stuff I basically do as a supplement to the animation. Sure. It just so happens that, people like seeing the behind the scenes stuff too. So I try and show as much of that as I can. Yeah.
Have you done like a behind the scenes for the dioramas on the channel? Cause I see it a lot on your Instagram.
I do. There have been behind the scenes like stuff on my channel. I do a show called Between the Frames, which is a lot of it is just like a haul and a pickup thing, but it's also just like I'm working on this diorama. Here's how it's coming. Here's how it's going. I'm doing this stop motion, or like I'm planning on trying a scene with this or that. So it's just basically like there's a lot of behind the scenes elements too, and a lot of how to kind of, if you want to try it, it's a good place to watch and maybe pick up something that you might be interested in trying out yourself at some point.
Mm-hmm. So we know you like Kong.
Sure.
What are some of the other lines you like to collect? Or just things you like in general?
Well, in keeping with Kong, obviously Godzilla is huge. Like, I love all the monsters that I've seen from that franchise as well. I got a big SH Monster Arts collection, just like I'm sure a lot of people who will watch this do. Apart from that, I'm, behind me, I got Marvel Legends. I got some wrestling. There's a lot of Ninja Turtles over there. Like, a lot of stuff that I kind of held on to from being a kid, like the stuff that I watched in the 90s. I still like a lot of that today. And I'm trying to think if there's anything.
I think that's how we move forward as collectors. Like the stuff that we liked when we were kids just keeps coming up.
Yeah, keeps getting better and more expensive. And I'm like, oh, why did they? I'm at the point now where I have more Ninja Turtles in 2021 than I probably had in like 1991, which is like, I'm like, I don't think I planned it this way as a kid, but here I am. And at least now I can, I can afford them when I see them, which is nice.
I hear you, man. Yeah. And I think when I first, found out about your channel because you commented on some of my stuff. You commented on I want to say the first Mezco Kong.
This rings a bell, yeah, because somebody in my comment section referred me to your video because you had a inside kind of insight as to like what that was based on, where I was just kind of like speculating and guessing and pulling up, because I don't know, like that comic book is not easy to come by on like Google and stuff. So like I'm trying to like piece together what I can so I can explain to people like, here's what you're looking at, I think. But then somebody's like,
it was a book first.
Okay.
It was a book, and then this company I was working for adapted the comic, and I actually ended up working on it. So that's why I was just like, I knew exactly what it was.
Gotcha.
And I had gotten confirmation of that from Mezco at Toy Fair when they first showed it. I actually had the first like video footage of the big Kong up.
Oh, okay, wow.
Which I never ended up getting, which is actually your last review was of that giant Kong.
The big guy. I got him down here taking up all kind of space on the floor. The big Mezco. I like it. It was one of those impulse buys. Yeah, I really like it. It was one of those things where probably around the time that you put some of the first footage up of it, I was like, well, I'm committing myself to that. Yeah. I don't know where I'm going to put it, what I'm going to do with it, but I know I need it. And now it's at the point where I started seeing it hit some of the online retailers. I was like, now's the time. This is what I've been hyping myself for.
So when I went back to your channel to check you out, the thing that like, made me go, oh, wow, this is interesting was the wrestling stuff, like all, the stop motion of the wrestling stuff, which was really cool. Like, how big of a wrestling fan are you? How does that influence what you do? Because you seem to have your own little federation there, your own...
I ran it, yeah. I mean, for a long time, that's what I was doing on YouTube. I was just like doing wrestling stuff pretty much consistently, and I got burned out on it, so I started doing like a lot more other things, and that's kind of like how my channel turned into kind of a little of everything at this point. But yeah, for a long time, that's all I was doing. And the irony was, like, I wasn't even a huge wrestling fan at the time. Like, I had a period of my life in like late 90s, early 2000s where like I loved it.
Yeah,
and then
who didn't?
At that point, it was easy to get into and very accessible and very cool. But like, it just, I don't know, like I never stopped enjoying wrestling. I just stopped being like a consumer of it as much.
Sure.
But Mattel's doing great stuff with their WWE like elites and all that kind of stuff. And there's like a couple different companies now doing their own take on wrestling. And like, it's an awesome time to be a collector. And I'm like, oh man, I almost wish I was a bigger fan of it so I could appreciate some of the stuff more. But yeah, I mean, I always enjoy wrestling. I'm just not an avid viewer of it anymore.
Your logo, the OWP, what is that?
Stands for Ordinary World Productions, which is like Ordinary World was like a local access TV show that my friends and I did in high school. And I just held on to the name, keep using it.
Because I was like trying to figure out if it was like a wrestling thing because the W was in there.
Oh, no. No.
All right. So that's pretty cool. you have gotten some of the AEW figures. Am I right?
Yeah, I got a couple of them here, and then recently, within the last week, over there is the new Kenny Omega and the Cody Rhodes and the big box with the TNT belt and everything.
How are those figures?
I like them. I mean, they're pretty comparable to, if you're familiar with Mattel, like Elite style stuff. They're very similar. They have a little bit of different engineering in the torso to kind of give them like some side to side, and they got double jointed elbows, which I think is long overdue for Elites. And I think they're finally
never ever seen them in store. You know that?
Really?
In NYC here, never seen them in store.
Okay, yeah, I'm only recently starting to see them regularly because for the first, I think, 2 waves, they were just a Walmart thing, and good luck with anything Walmart around here. But now Target's getting them, and that's where I got a couple of them. And for the most part, I'm going online and getting a lot of them just because to avoid the hassle.
Yeah,
but I like them overall.
That was always one of those lines where I was kind of like, if I see it, I'll want to check one out, but I just haven't had the urge to like order one.
Yeah,
it's mostly because I don't really watch AEW too much. Like I'll catch a little bit here and there. You know, I don't even catch that much WWE anymore, to tell you the truth. Like I was a huge wrestling fan, so that's why I was just like, oh, cool. So
nice.
When I said, you know, like so, but like because I wasn't following anybody covering wrestling figures. And you were not just doing wrestling, you had other stuff going on that I was interested in, like TMNT as well, which I don't really cover much anymore on the channel, even though I have in my backlog maybe like 4 like NECA things that I need to really review. But I was collecting them a lot more before, you know, like how big is TMNT for you?
It's more recently, like it's gotten more big for me, like more of a big deal. Like, I mean, as a kid, I loved it, obviously. And I had a bunch of the Playmates stuff and, you know, all through the early 90s, that was like my thing. And then recently, like I've always kind of kept up with it little by little. Like when the new movies would come out, I'd be like, oh, cool, let me check this out. And then, you know, have whatever opinion I would have on it. Or the new cartoons, for example, like every couple of years, you know, they had a new series. Usually I would make it a point to get like the core 4 turtles from like everything that came out. And now we're at the point where turtles are like all over the place. Like NECA's doing 2 different versions.
That's what I was doing. And then I was just like, I can't do this anymore. Especially when NECA exploded with like everything, you know, just like, nah, I can't do it.
NECA, I mean, between the movies and the cartoons, like I've been able to keep up with some of that. With most of it, actually, I've been lucky because they've done like the online order, which has been very helpful. Because finding it in stores is not easy. But then you got like Super 7 out here doing it. And I'm like, I'm not buying all that. I'm buying the 4 turtles and that's it. Super 7.
And you can order the 4 turtles now, again, if anybody's missed them. I'm actually kind of tempted because I haven't. You know, so I'm actually tempted to get the 4 turtles. But man, I've been spending so much. Let me see who's in the chat that I didn't say hello to. Chrome Kaiju 3000. What's up? Shadow Trexian. Godzilla and Friends, Kaiju King 5717, Jacobzilla 25, Kaimo Films. What's up? Oh, look what he has to say. Oh, let's see.
I know that guy.
Now, who is that handsome man with the long, luscious hair who looks to have similar interests as me? Mike Zilla, what's up, man? You guys could ask anything you want of Captain or myself. We are here to chat with you guys as well. But yeah, TMNT, man, it's one of those things. Accessibility, right? It's really hard to find a lot of them with the NECA stuff, you know, and it's one of those things where like I feel like Super 7, they're a little pricey, you know, like they're about what, $20 more now than NECA figures, and like an individual figure, like that's a lot, you know. Like I'm like Super 7's going to be doing the Godzilla license, and I'm committing myself to get everything, you know? So it's just like one of those things where just judging by how they work, it's going to be a pricey endeavor, you know, like, but you know, that for me as a channel will work out, you know, like, but
definitely.
TMNT is one of those things. Everybody's doing TMNT right now.
Yeah. I mean, last summer, I made like a TMNT video. It was like just talking about all the various figures that were out at the time. And I did it basically, like I said, just to kind of put something on the channel. And that video is like performing better than any of other videos on my channel. I'm like, wow. And it's great. But at the same time, I had just come off the back of this months long Mortal Kombat thing that I did with like different endings and it's all stop motion. And I'm like, oh man, that one's getting buried now by the like one that I just made in a weekend.
I saw that TMNT one, man. That one is like really doing that one kicks butt, man.
Thank you. I tried to be as thorough as I could with the information I had at the time. And like even more has come out since then, like the Super 7 stuff. And getting back to kind of your point on Super 7, like they are more expensive, but like they're also very complete. Like you only got to buy one and it comes with basically everything that you'll ever need. And that's what I'm wondering about when they get this Godzilla license really like up and running. Like, will it be, you might have to spend more money, but you'll probably get everything you possibly could ever need for whatever version of the monster you wind up with.
That's what I'm looking forward to, though. You know, like you're right. You know, they are very thorough. Like if you look at the Transformers wave of stuff they have coming out, like they're doing like episode specific stuff, and within that, it's just like everything from that episode, and it's just amazing that they're doing that. And I kind of just want to support Super 7 more because I've always liked them, like before they were even doing like big licenses like this. I remember I went to San Diego Comic-Con in like 2005, and I still have a T-shirt that I got from them, a Godzilla shirt, where it's like all the monsters, So it's just like I've always liked Super 7, and I want them to do more stuff. Like another license I'm like really love is the Power Ranger stuff, and this is I still haven't opened this Megazord that they just did the reaction figure one, and I'm looking forward to them doing like ultimates of these guys as well. But I'm not going to be getting like all the Power Rangers, like Power Rangers Lightning Collection is good enough for that. But like any Zords, Megazords, like stuff like that, I'm totally gonna be getting. So I want to support Super 7. I do like them, in particular.
Yeah, same here. Like, I mean, like I said, I'm committed to the 4 turtles, and that's pretty much it for the TMNT. But then Series 5 came out, they were showing the images, and it was like Leonardo in the samurai gear, and I'm like,
oh my god, that wave is amazing looking.
I had that one as a kid too. I'm like, technically he's one of the 4 turtles. I guess I got to start, and I'm like, here's where this gets out of control for me. I can see this, but
goes off the rails.
To be honest, though, Super 7, like I actually got a couple of the New Japan Pro Wrestling figures of theirs too, just to kind of see, form an opinion. And I like them a lot. There are, differences certainly more so than, like Mattel and Jazzwares are very comparable. Super 7, little different. It's in the same wheelhouse, but there's definite differences. But I like them. I think at the price point, it's going to maybe make people kind of think they're, you can take it or leave it just because it is more expensive. But
I was curious about those New Japan figures.
Yeah, honestly. I like the ones that I have. I got 2 of them, and I got Wave 2 pre-ordered because I just like the looks of those figures better. And again, like kind of like with AEW, I'm not a viewer of this product. I like the figures that have come out so far, and I want to continue just to support the lines because they just look cool and they're fun. And I'll eventually do some stop motion stuff with all these wrestling guys eventually. So like
I know you commented on it on my Instagram on him, but you got to check out those Boss Fight Studio Lucha Brothers.
They look good.
Awesome. Oh, that's what I was looking for just now. I thought they were in a box behind me, but apparently they're not. And they're just so good. Like they're the size of Marvel Legends.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're not in scale with all the other wrestling figures, which I'm really kind of happy about. Like, if you're collecting wrestling figures, they're not good, right? But AEW did the Lucha Brothers anyway. But, like, as their own thing, and if you want to do stop motions with, like, Marvel Legends versus, like, these guys, they're quite awesome. I mean, they feel so good. They have, like, a kind of... like a import figure type feel to them. Like it's hard to describe, like engineering. The materials feel like, more domestic, like Marvel Legends, but the engineering feels different. It's really interesting.
Gotcha. Okay. See, I was curious because I know like back when WWE had that SH Figure Arts line that was like kind of pretty short lived, but there were some nice figures in it. But people's number one complaint was like, oh, it doesn't scale with all the rings and all the stuff I got. Yeah.
They were too small.
Figure Arts run small anyway, but like I think they were, like you could put Undertaker and like Vegeta next to each other and they would make sense together. But the Dragon Ball stuff is already kind of on the small side as it is. So yeah, I could see people's complaints about it.
Yeah, you know, that's the thing, right? Like the collecting community is very, very much into scale. And, you know, like there's a reason why AEW didn't stray from the Mattel scale.
Oh yeah.
You know, like because they'd never hear it, you know, like so it's one of those things where if like fans can't, you know, interact their figures, if they can't do their own crossovers, they go crazy.
Yeah. I mean, AEW, I think they did it smart because they did come right out the gate with figures that scaled with everything else that was already in the market. So even a casual collector might just be like, all right, I don't know anything about AEW as a product, but I know who Kenny Omega is, and I'll buy him and put him with my AJ Styles and Undertaker and Kane and all these guys, and he'll fit in the ring with them, and it'll all look nice together. And Super 7, again, same thing. They come out and they're basically in scale with everything else. And like I said before, man, it's a great time to be a wrestling collector because everything lines up nicely.
Yeah, no, definitely. I just think the Boss Fight Studios ones are amazing, though. But before we move on, Jacob Zilla, I wanted to answer this. Are you going to get the SH Monster Arts Godzilla versus Kong? And I think we were talking about this before we went on the air. Yes, they are actually on the way to me. I was hoping to have them by today, but they were in customs, and they didn't leave customs for 24 hours. Usually, DHL is much quicker than that through there, but it's one of those things. Probably not going to have them till Monday at this point because Saturday night, and they're not going to deliver tomorrow. But I will be getting them. They are on their way, and I will try to get my reviews up as soon as possible. So you said you were going to get those as well.
Eager to check out those reviews.
Kong and Zilla.
But yeah, definitely Kong and Godzilla. I got them from Big Bad, as I mentioned before. So I won't be getting them for a little while after, probably after you and a bunch of other people get them. But I'm looking forward. I already went on eBay, and a while ago I bought this like aircraft carrier thing for like $20. And
nice. Is it that Matchbox one or something like that?
It's not Matchbox. I forget what the brand is, but it was like. Yeah, it was from like overseas. It basically got shipped to me in like a black trash bag with a label slapped on it. Like nobody cares. But you know, $20 and it held together. I got Mezco Kong and a NECA Godzilla out there doing the famous like punch scene, and I'm like, they're holding the place. They're keeping it warm for the Monster Arts when I get them grappling on there, and that'll be cool. But like
that'll be cool seeing, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait for those figures. I think they both look good. This will actually be the first MonsterVerse Godzilla that I got from Monster Arts. Like my roommate has the 2014 and it's really nice, but like I've been pretty happy with the NECA 2014. Yeah. I think the King of the Monsters version, I think
NECA did a good job with those actually. So I can see that. I think a lot of my versus videos, NECA fared really well on those.
Yeah, NECA, like for me, I mean, at first they were pretty hit and miss in my opinion, but they got substantially better as the line went on, and like some of their last releases, like the Biollante one and the was it the Tokyo SOS one, I believe, I really like them. And I mean, I'm not gonna tell you they're better than the Monster Arts or anything. I don't say that necessarily, but for the price, for you get a good sculpted figure, they're nice. I think they fit nicely on the shelf with you can use them interchangeably with some of the Monster Arts stuff. I can dig it.
Yeah, no, definitely, man.
Going back to kind of what you were saying though about Godzilla versus Kong, you must be on board for this Mecha Godzilla, right?
Oh yeah, you know,
yeah, me too.
The thing is, there's a big variance in the rumors of the price on this. So initially, was a Tag Hobby, which usually has legit, like they know what they're talking about. The Japanese website, they put on their initial listing for it at like 60,000 yen, which would have been like amazing, but I just doubt it would be that cheap, right? That's like, you know, $58 or whatever, you know, like that. There's no way a Mechagodzilla that's taller than Godzilla is going to be cheaper. And then I got another rumor that says it's going to be $150.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Which is way too much, I think, because it doesn't come with anything except for like extra hands. It does have die cast in it, and it's 7 inches tall. But $150? I'm hoping it's somewhere in the middle there, you know, like 100, 110, 120 at max. Because either way, I got to go in on it, right? Like, I got the other two, and you know, I want it. But the like when I heard it was like die cast and everything, I'm thinking like, oh man, there goes that price right up and up. But you know, it's like the same thing I tell myself every time. I'm like, I only got to buy it once, and there we go. That's how I want some of these other ones. Yeah, I hear you, man.
I like what they've done with some of their MonsterVerse figures. I mean, Ghidorah, for all his faults, I still do like him. And, you know, the Godzillas that have come out have all been impressive for me to just kind of admire from afar. So I'm excited to get my own Godzilla finally, and Kong, and, you know, Mechagodzilla will be a cool addition. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to getting these two right now because I saw them in person at the Tamashi pop-up shop a couple of months back now. Yeah. And they look cool, but they were behind glass, you know, like a few feet away. And they looked cool. But it's weird because Kong looked bigger than the pics I'm seeing of him out of the box now, which is very odd to me. Like, it's like this weird, like, feeling I'm having where I saw this thing in person and it looked big, and then I see it in pics now with other stuff and it looks tiny, and I'm like, was that not the same figure? It was really weird. It's a really weird feeling I'm having, so I'm really looking forward to that one getting here because I'm very curious. I also have the movie Monster Series Mechagodzilla coming along with them, which wasn't even like announced. It just, here it is. Here's the pre-order. Not even a pre-order. Here it is. It's in stock. As soon as I ordered it on HLJ, I got charged for the Godzilla, the Kong, and the Mechagodzilla all at once. It was so strange. Like the minute I ordered the Mechagodzilla, it was just like, bing, here you go.
Here's all of it.
And that's why I was just like, click, ship, and it still took, and it's still not here. Oh, well.
Yeah, they'll get you with that. The I'm trying to go back to thinking what I was going to say a second. Oh, the Kong, his size. Like I've seen some side by side with like the other Monster Arts, the Peter Jackson Kong, and like that one seems like taller than the newer one. And in my head, I'm like, well, that's not right. But then I realized, like, well, actually no, because the obviously scales are wrong anyway. But like the Peter Jackson Kong isn't necessarily meant to be like up on his back legs. Like he's kind of always been hunched forward. So I'm like, okay, well, they would probably be comparable size-wise if you put them, you know, in that kind of position. And I'm looking at the Godzilla, legendary Godzilla figure that is out there right now, and I'm kind of putting that Kong next to it, and he's a little taller than Godzilla. I'm like, all right, so if the newer one is shorter than this, he should be like kind of eye level with Godzilla. I think it'll wash out and be okay. And if it's not, it's still Kong, and I still want it. So
no, definitely, no doubt. Let's see. Ghost Tav, what's up? Gary asked a question here. Did you have a chance to swap out the new movable jaw head from NECA Kong onto the first release body? And if so, does it look good with a flatter paint? I have not done that. I'm sure it looks fine because this head looks pretty good. You know what? Captain, keep him busy out here.
So this Godzilla, Godzilla. This Kong is one that I'm actually after myself. I haven't seen it yet. Interested in it, definitely. Every once in a while, I see they restock the original, the first release of the NECA Kong, and people are still buying that. So I mean, I'm glad to see that.
I heard, and I don't know this for sure because I didn't really look for it. That the one that's in stores now of the original one has actually a slightly different paint job. They updated
that could be
on that one. So I don't know. Let's find out. It looks fine. It looks
Nice.
totally fine. Because, and I'll say this, the heads are not as glossy as the bodies. Like the bodies are really glossy. Like his chest and his hands and his feet are really glossy on the new one, but the heads actually are not. So the head fits on the old body really well. So it looks good. It does look good. Actually, this might be the Ultimate Kong now. Even though I do like this original head is amazing. Something about this movable jaw, man, that I'm just loving.
I knew they were going to come out with something like that. I honestly expected like a closed mouth, not like a hinge. But the way they did the hinge, honestly, like the promo pictures weren't selling me on it. But like seeing like from your video before and like a couple other things I've seen, like it's better hidden than I expected it to be. So like
it's really well hidden.
It doesn't break the sculpt. It doesn't make it look like awkward or weird. I actually for my stop motion, and just because I'm a enthusiast for this kind of stuff, like I bought another of these heads from eBay a while back, and I actually just kind of modded my own closed mouth. So like it,
oh nice,
yeah, it like pops on and off. So like for me, for my purposes, like if I want them to start roaring, I could just switch the heads in the animation and have it work. So I'm like, oh, of course they would make an articulated jaw now that I've already done this, but I'm not mad about it because the shape of the head is different, and this I kind of, you know, I like how uniform it is with the one I already got.
I hear that, man. What's up, Ghosts? Let's see. I hope Mechagodzilla is not exclusive. Even if it's exclusive in Japan, it's not going to be exclusive here. I'll say that. You know, there's no doubt about it. They wouldn't make they wouldn't make any of those three exclusives at all in the US. Like Tamashii does that all the time. They'll make something exclusive in Japan, but not here. Like Burning Godzilla 2019 was an exclusive in Japan, but it wasn't an exclusive here. So
I could walk into FYE and get it here. Yeah. Like,
yeah, you know, so it's one of those things where Mechagodzilla, there's no doubt. I don't think they could have anticipated how, or maybe they did, how popular this Mechagodzilla actually has become. Like, I think it's done extraordinarily well as a Mechagodzilla, you know, like, I think a large portion of the community really, really likes it a lot.
That was pretty good. I like the design. I mean, it fits in well with that universe. They kind of bulked up his arms a little bit. I was like, as I was watching the movie, I was thinking, like, that makes sense. Like, if you're going to make something that needs to fight Godzilla, you would give it every advantage you could. And, you know, if you got to make his reach a little longer, go for it. Do it. Like, it doesn't have to look just like Godzilla, especially when it's not trying to imitate Godzilla like the original Mechagodzilla.
And even the original Mechagodzilla, it looks so different from Godzilla. It was funny that they said it was inside of that, you know, the fake Godzilla there.
That skin, scratch off.
Like, how is that Mechagodzilla inside there? I don't know about that.
That's actually one of the ones I regret missing, is that first that 70s Mechagodzilla, the Monster Arts.
It's not good. Don't worry about it.
Oh,
no,
okay.
It's not good. It's like it's one of my least favorite Mechagodzilla figures.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so the only one, it's a big disappointment, honestly.
The only one I did get was the heavy arms one with the drill and the
I love that one. That's probably my favorite one.
I love it, and the die-cast feet, so he can like hold the pose really well. I wanted to get the Super Mechagodzilla, and I never did, unfortunately, and that's probably expensive at this point. I don't know, but
yeah, I think it is. That one
I did hear the articulation wasn't great on that one. I don't know if that's just because it was one of the older ones that, like, from the early run of the Monster Arts stuff.
That one, it was amazing because, speaking of diecast, that thing is heavy. That is like a really, like, real good, you know, classic Bandai robot. You know,
very nice.
It's really nice in that way. Speaking of robots, Ghost has a little thing for me here. SSSS Dynazenon reviews in Japan started to show up, and it looks better than SSS Gridman. You are correct. And it is coming to me, I believe, in a week and a half or so. Yeah, so I am getting that Ghost, the Dynazenon, and it looks awesome. I did see one review in Japanese, I could only watch, but it looked great, and I'm looking forward to getting that. Yeah, it looks awesome, but rest in peace my wallet, because that thing is very expensive. So I want to show some folks a little stop motion from Captain here that we're going to watch, and then we're going to talk some Kong figures after that. This is already in motion. My apologies to everybody here, but I guess I never stopped it. But hey, it is what it is. We'll just keep watching it. So why don't you tell us what's going on here?
Well, basically, this is part 2 of the encounter here. Part 1 went on my Instagram a few weeks ago, and it's basically just Kong walking up and starting a fight with this dinosaur. So periodically, I'll post like 10, 15 seconds or however much I have done at that point. And, people can check it out. And eventually my goal is to just string all the parts together, put it in one long video. That'll probably end up on YouTube at some point. But it's in my wheelhouse. Fantastic. Like I said, I like Kong. This is actually one that I wanted to challenge myself a little bit more on. So
it's really fluid, man.
Oh, thank you. I wanted to make it as authentic as I could. So I went straight 24 frames a second, very little in the way of like post editing and any of that kind of stuff, because I wanted it to be like kind of my love letter to Kong. And in fact, my headcanon for this fight is this is Kong after Anne has been saved by Jack and they're going back to the native village. This is Kong chasing them down, and this dinosaur just happens to be in the way. And so Kong is furious, and I'm like, whatever. If I need a story for it, that's it.
That's really, really good, man.
Oh, thank you.
Really, yeah.
Actually got surprisingly more enjoyment out of this Beast of the Mesozoic guy than I expected to. Have you ever gotten any of these?
I got one right here.
Oh, which one? Oh, very nice. That looks cool.
This is the, who is it? The Zuni Ceratops.
Nice. If he's anything like the Styracosaurus here, I think you're going to dig him. These are fun. I got a bunch of the raptors too. I got 4 of those a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm. And I got one raptor. I'm trying to get one of each of their waves.
Oh, okay. So yeah, they got the Rexes coming at some point soon. That looks cool.
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. I don't know. It's just I don't want to go all in on another line. It's just, especially, this better than the raptors, because the raptors were like a lot of the same and just slightly varied, right?
Yeah, the ones I got, I made sure to try and
make
them as differently as possible.
Yeah.
So there was like one of them is like a fan choice thing where the color is like way different. One of them's like a bright blue. One of them's like kind of a dark gray and brown. And there's one other one that I have, but they look cool. I like them.
This is a smaller one. I went with this because it was cheap. But I want to keep supporting, because the Raptor was really nice.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, like that's really, like, how long did it take you to do this animation? I'm gonna look for the first part while you talk about that.
Let me see. That one I did. And I wish I had a better answer for you, but like I don't really know, because from where the first one ended, this one just started like from that, like right before they're about to like start really like fighting. So that part of that you would see in the beginning of that one that we just watched, that was done like a few weeks ago. And then this afternoon I did everything from him being on the ground and like punching the thing in the head and like standing up and roaring at him. I did that in I want to say probably like 2 hours, maybe.
That's pretty good, man. That seems pretty quick.
Once I was like motivated, that's the thing. You get started and you had to be like, oh man, like where am I going to take this? How am I going to go from here? But you put a podcast on or a music, like a channel or something, and you just go.
Yeah. No, I hear you. So we're gonna watch part 1.
Yeah, this guy just minding his own business.
Oh, there he is.
Yep.
Oh,
just
he just pushed that tree on him.
My roommate was just like, hey, Kong is kind of the bad guy in these. I'm like, well, you see, he's outraged because Anne just got rescued, and it's all. If you need the story, it's like, otherwise it's just Kong being a big bully and like nasty to this guy.
Oh, that is amazing.
Thank you.
I, I love it. I love it. We're just gonna play the second part again for those that didn't see how that can. Oh, now it's like even worse because
he started the fight, and then this other guy's just like, I want to, now that I'm watching this, I'm like, I gotta let this guy get some hits in. He's just biting it right now.
The scaling between these guys is really, really nice, I gotta say.
That's kind of why I got this one, because I had seen somebody review that, and I was like impressed with, I forget what they had in the video to kind of like scale with this, but I was like, yeah, that probably look really good with one of the Kongs I have. And honestly, like, it works really well, I think.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's scaled actually better than the stuff that comes with the new Kong, from what I'm seeing. Like,
oh my god, they're tiny.
I couldn't really remember, like, when you were, saying that in your video. I was like, let me go back and check, because I don't remember if the little like pit monster was like meant to be smaller or bigger. And you're right, like, this thing is small. And the same, like, the Pteranodon I knew, because I thought that, like, Jurassic Park, that Amber collection one, I was like, that's almost like a perfect fit for that.
I have that one. I haven't looked at them together because I don't know where I put the Pteranodon.
I didn't even know that was coming out. So I saw that in Target, and I was like, this is something I'm going to keep my eye on. If I see it,
it's really good. Like, it's really nice. I haven't reviewed it yet, but it's really nice.
Nice. Okay, yeah. Because the one that comes with Kong is like, it looks great, but it is a little on the small side. So if that one drops in price a couple bucks, I'll probably pick one up.
So you got some nice comments here.
Oh, thank you.
Wow, really impressive. Stop motion feels natural.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Agree. Very impressive. I was impressed at how on scale looks with Skull Island Kong. Let's see who else. Outstanding.
Thank you.
This is the best comment right here, man. Willis O'Brien would have been a great tribute.
Thank you so much. That's like, yeah, I mean, that's about the highest praise I could hope for a Kong project like this.
Seriously, man. Oh, it's really good. It's so fluid.
Thank you.
It has that Willis O'Brien feel. It really does. I mean, the black and white helps, obviously, but
yeah, I mean, like, there's like a little filter over it just to give a little film grain and stuff. But like I said, I tried not to go too crazy with effects or anything like that. So typically when I do my own, like, just everything else, basically, like, I'll try and like blend it a little bit so there's like a little bit of smoothness in there. And I'm like, I don't want any of that for this. And you'll see, like, the more you watch it, you'll see like the tree like moves slightly between their movements. And I'm like, that's fine. That's perfect for what was going on in the original Kong movie. Like, you'd see like bushes move slightly just because the animator like just touched it by accident or whatever. But I'm like, in this, it seems like it fits. So, I try to keep it.
You can tell how big of a Kong fan you are just by the way Kong moves.
Nice, yeah.
You got those motions down pat, man.
A lifetime of watching Kong as a kid. So I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm used to it. I'm just glad NECA made the figure able to actually pull off all those moves.
I know.
Like, it's so much better that, like, I don't have to like try and find shortcuts for it. I can just he'll just do it.
I honestly think it's NECA's best figure. Like, hands down.
Really nice. Yeah. Like, I mean, I've got virtually no complaints about the figure at all, apart from maybe the inclusion of a closed mouth head, which I just made my own. So, like, fine. I love it.
Yeah. No, it's fantastic. What's your favorite Kong movie?
Oh, the original, definitely. Yeah. That's like, it's probably my favorite movie. Like, granted, it's not perfect, and I understand that it has its flaws and like all this stuff, but like, it's like I said before, and it's corny, but like I'm doing a lot of the stuff I'm doing today because I watched that movie. Like, just all the hobbies I have and a lot of the stuff that I like doing is because of that. So yeah, the original. And I got appreciation for pretty much all the other ones, whether they're good or not, because there's a few that vary in quality there.
What's your top 5 Kong figures?
Oh, figures?
Yeah, let's do figures.
Well, I'll start with like the one that we were just watching there. The NECA probably is my favorite still. The big Mezco probably just down to his size and the detail and how impressive he is. Let's see. It's hard to say. Like the SH Monster Arts is a great figure, but it just doesn't represent a version of Kong that I'm particularly thrilled with, like the 2005 one. So as a figure, it's great. Like I really don't have any complaints about it. And I'm, I can put him on that list. He's really good. But the new SH Monster Arts looks great. I can't fairly tell you where it places right now. What's that for? I do have a soft spot for the Mezco, the 7-inch Mezco one. I don't have any of the Playmates ones or the Jack Specific. It's Playmates, right? That's doing the new one. Okay, yeah. So I don't have any of those. I have seen them, and for what they are, they look pretty cool. Like they're obviously like they're meant for kids' toys and like that kind of thing. But the sculpt on them are nice. I like how Kong always has an expression on his face. There's one where he's kind of like snarling. There's another one where he's like growling wide open. So, I mean, I can appreciate the stuff like that, the little details they put onto them. But, yeah, I mean, overall, like... Are you
a fan of the McFarlane Kong?
I love that figure. I don't know whatever happened to mine. I had it, but, yeah. So, I mean, I'd like to get another one at some point. I liked McFarlane at that time, especially, was just, like, all about their sculpt work and their detail. And Kong was a great representation at the time for, like, what they were capable of, I think. You have that one as well, right?
I do. I actually got it like within the first 6 months of this channel existing.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I had picked it up on eBay because there was a huge gap in my collecting. Like I wouldn't say from like 2000 to 2013, I wasn't buying anything.
Okay.
Like, it's when I was starting my career and stuff, and I was really focused, and I was like, working all day and then like coming home and making comics all night. And, it was one of those things where, until I got like comfortable and until I started working at DC Comics, I made it, like it wasn't until then where I started settling. My life started settling a little more. And that was like already going into 2007. But then I started, I wasn't collecting, but DC Collectibles was giving me figures because I was friends with them. That's nice. I started like palling around with those guys, and would get free DC figures and anything else that they would do. And I was starting to like get into like I was getting into collecting again without really knowing it because I had all these like figures like around my desk at work and stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
And it wasn't until I discovered the Monster Arts line that I was just like, oh my God. And I was like, I have to get into this line. And there you go. And after that, it was just like, within like 3 years of that, then I got onto the channel. And then I started discovering stuff that I was missing in that gap, Yeah. And McFarlane Kong was amongst those. And I found one for like super cheap, still in box on eBay. And I was like, getting it, and I actually reviewed it on Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which, if folks don't know, like that was a huge tradition, was Kong viewing on Thanksgiving, at least in the NYC area. Like it was, I don't, like that was everywhere, but like here it was like Kong Day was Thanksgiving. The following day was Godzilla movies.
You can always count on it's like WPIX or whatever. Like they'll put Kong on every Thanksgiving. Yeah. there he was every year. Kong's. Yeah, but yeah, so that's great. The McFarlane one, like like I said, I'd like to get another one just to have because I remember really liking it.
It's really nice. It's still one of my favorite figures.
He'll stand there on his little like New York City like thing where he's chained up, and he'll look great. I mean, that figure. I mean, it's about all you can do with it is stand him there. But as a showpiece, it's really impressive.
Luminous says, I recommend the 6-inch Playmates Kongs. They have great articulation. They do. They're very, very, very cool. Ghost has a question for you. What are Captain McKay's thoughts on the Kong versus Godzilla? How the Kong versus Godzilla fight went? Did Kong win from your POV?
Well, no, I don't think he won. I think he put in a good performance though, and that's really all I could expect. I mean, that movie went. I mean, we can talk about that movie too,
like, guys. That's Kong. It's Godzilla versus Kong. starring Kong.
That's like yeah. I mean,
he's the main character of the movie.
I was impressed with just how like that held true. Like I'm hard pressed to think of a movie where Kong is the main character up until this one. Like, I mean, he's always a central focus, but you're always paying attention to the human side of things, and Kong's just kind of like there to, you know, take what he wants and be a problem for them. But this one, like, Kong is like the main central antagonist of the movie, and I love that about this movie. I didn't expect that he was going to come out on top because this legendary franchise has done such a good job at making Godzilla like just a powerhouse. And you know, the fight was entertaining. It was good. And, you know, Kong obviously took the L this time around, but I'm not mad at it because let's face it, in all of his other movies, he usually ends up dead. So I'm happy with this.
The whole thing was like a wrestling angle. Like it was a wrestling match, you know, Kong gets beat, but then Mechagodzilla like does the run in, beats the hell out of Godzilla, and then they have to team up and beat the bigger guy there. You know, like it's totally wrestling. You know, it's a total wrestling angle, and I love that. I love that about it. I thought it was great.
That reluctant little truce at the end that they have to like walk away, and they're like, this could go somewhere, or you know, we'll see where that happens. But yeah, I like that throughout the whole movie, it kept you guessing too. Like Kong. In the scene where he's like on the boats and everything, it's like, well, yeah, Kong technically would have lost that if it wasn't for the human interference. But at the same time, we also saw that Kong was like chained up and he was like tranquilized at that point or sedated or whatever. But then the second fight, Kong has his weapon and he gets his hits in on Godzilla. And it's like, all right, you know, this could still be anyone's match here. And then finally, by the end of the movie, like the wrestling angle took place. And it's like, it's a lot of fun.
No, it's got to have, in my opinion, the single coolest Kong shot of any movie, in my opinion, is when he, like, snaps his shoulder back into the place, and the camera zooms in, and he's like,
he's ready to go after that, yeah.
Like, that is, like, to me, like, the best part of, like, I have a lot of problems with the movie, but... You know, because it's honestly a mess of a movie, but if you just follow Kong, it's totally fine. You know, like, and because of everything that Kong goes through, like that scene just pumps you up so much. Like, it's like, yeah, get in there, get back in the ring.
Me and a friend of mine, we actually did like a long discussion on his Patreon thing about this Kong versus Godzilla, or Godzilla versus Kong, and we were kind of like talking about how everything involving the monsters was great. And then like some of the human characters, I'm like, I don't even know if we needed these characters. Like some of them, I'm like the guy who's like making a podcast about the big evil corporation, but the big evil corporation knows about this podcast. Do they not know that this guy works there? And I'm like, wait, no, the weird conspiracy theory guy is the good guy of this movie? Like,
yeah, there's a lot of weird things in this movie because it was cut up like crazy. They had to reshoot a lot of stuff. You know, so maybe one day we'll get the full story of exactly what was supposed to happen. Yeah. But you could tell that there's like weird gaps of like logic and like just things where like, why did we need that? Or, you know, like, I don't know. There's a lot of weird motivations in there that are not explained, you know. I just wanted to go back a bit because Ghost said something to me. Thanks to Ultrazilla News, I went and ordered a Ready Player One Mechagodzilla. Very cool. It's a very good figure and probably a NECA figure, but it's really, really good. I really like it. Chrome Kaiju said, almost hoping we get Kyoko Mechagodzilla 2021. That's the bigger scale SH Monster Arts that like sing and dance. I just think it would look cool, but not practical. Yeah, I think if they just made it like that, it would have been cool because the height would have been pretty good.
I'm still waiting for them to get that Shin Godzilla out that was supposed to be.
Right,
like
right.
Where's that? Like, I want that one with the lights and the...
That got like scrapped or something. I don't know. It might come out at some point.
I hope so, because, I mean, I like their the standard Shin Godzilla, I think is really good. I know people have some issues with it, but overall, I like it. But, I mean, if I could get one that lights up and everything, I'm... day one for me.
Oh yeah, I'm a huge fan. Like I collect a lot of robots too. Like I'm a huge fan of like these, you know, as you know they call in the Japanese these DX, robots with like lights and sounds. I love that stuff.
Nice.
Squidward class, the accessory I would love to see would have been a King Kong with a Mecha G head in his hand, like the 2014 Spitfire had. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Yeah, I was saying actually, where was I saying this? It was probably in a private chat actually, that if they do another Kong, it's probably gonna come with a I would think they would do like a Kong like all like scarred up, and then like with this Mecha Godzilla head. I think that would be a really cool, accessory for sure.
That could definitely work. That's actually, yeah, I'm wondering how much mileage they're going to get out of this Kong body. I'm like, well, could they do different? Like, it's not like he had many different looks throughout the movie. Like, I mean, they could do like a snow covered one maybe, but like, apart from that, I'm like, they got, I mean, it's not their most expensive figure at least. So,
right.
Like, they pretty much got their money's worth out of people getting really excited about it.
It's going to sell like gangbusters. The movie did so well, everybody wants it,
People were going crazy for the Peter Jackson Kong for the longest time too. So I think anybody that missed that is finally seeing a Kong for a good price, and they're like, all right, I'm jumping on it.
Let's do it. Count says, I think the latest NECA Kong brow is actually more faithful to 33. If you watch my review, I kind of compare the two, and I really actually do think the original head is a little more. It depends on the shot, right? Because like there was a few different Kongs in play in the original Kong that they used, so maybe. But I do think this brow is just. This guy's all brow. Like it comes out a lot.
I think, yeah, I agree. I think the first one pretty much nailed it with the sculpt, and this one, I mean, they're very pronounced at certain points in the movie, like you said, just down to them using different puppets. But like, I don't remember being that distracted by it at any point. So I don't know. I like the first one better.
Yeah, I love that too. So Kong is babyface and Godzilla is the heel. The Mecha Godzilla shows up and Kong brings a foldable chair. Yes, exactly.
That's it, yeah. I could do that. I've actually thought, and this is what I do at work, is I work in a distribution center, and I just have all day long to just think of ridiculous things. And I'm thinking, like, this is, like you said, it's a pro wrestling angle. And I'm thinking, like, what kind of dumb animation could I make when I get these monster arts? I could do, like, Kong Cena, where he's doing the thing and, like, slamming Godzilla. And I'm like, oh, there we go. Classic. Let's do it.
Yeah, man. You should do it, definitely. What's up, Titan Gojira 2019? I like this. Godzilla fought a great fight, but Kong is a great fighter. Apollo Creed.
That's good. Actually,
it's a better story if you skip the human story. Sure.
When you were talking about the Ready Player One Mechagodzilla, I forgot to ask: did you get the was it the Evangelion Mechagodzilla?
Yep. I have that as well. Yeah, I have that. It's a really good piece. I believe they called it Shiryu instead of Kiryu.
Okay.
Shiryu. Yeah, it's really, really nice. It's a little fragile, but it's beautiful. I really like that one.
It's a kit, right? Like you have to assemble it?
No. Oh, no, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about that. Yeah, there's a kit that's coming out. It's not out
That's
yet.
what I meant. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. There's another one. Let me go get it.
Okay, nice. Because if I'm not mistaken, the upcoming one is like a 9 or 10 inch tall kit, and it wouldn't fit in with anything that I have, but I like the look of it, and I'd be just down to have it on a shelf.
So this is the original thing I was talking about. This is a figure.
Oh yes, okay, I've seen. Nice.
Which is amazing, but I knocked off his one of his arm blades as I was taking him off the shelf just now. But this thing is incredible. I love this thing. It's an original piece, which is really nice. The Mechagodzilla, the Kiryu and the Eva colors looks really great, but it's super expensive. Something you have to put together, and it's not it's like a higher level kit. Like I am not great with kits, so it might take me like months to do if I actually get it and actually start doing it. In this backlog of stuff, I have a little stack of kits that I still got to do. But yeah, no, I don't know if I'm going to get it because it's just too expensive.
I was kind of on the fence myself. Like, I mean, I think it looks great, but like, I'm not as far as my kit building goes, I got a couple of the Star Wars Bandai ones, and then there was like I forget what they're called, the Figurize, I think Dragon Ball ones, and
Yep.
like those are pretty self-explanatory to assemble, but like there's not a whole lot of complicated stuff going on with those. Where Mechagodzilla looks like it'd be a little more intimidating.
Yeah. Some of these robot kits are like crazy intimidating. Let's see. That shoulder shot of Kong reminds me of a little of Riggs in Lethal Weapon X. I can see that. Luminous. Did any of the lesser-known Kong movies make an impression on you, good, bad, or bizarre? This King Kong Lives, Queen Kong, and others. Well, Queen Kong, I don't think is an actual Kong movie.
It's like a bootleg that somebody's just like, hey, here we go. They're not going to come for us. RKO doesn't care or own the rights or whatever. My biggest takeaway from King Kong Lives was that they give you a recap of the 76 Kong at the beginning, like just kind of because it was like 10 years later or something. And they replaced the audio of Kong's roar with the updated one. And that always bothered me. That's about as far as
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah. That's I mean, there wasn't much going on in that movie, as I recall. It was just like Kong gets a heart transplant.
Yeah, no, I remember the movie. I just don't remember the raw thing. That's pretty interesting.
I guess if you want to talk about the Toho Kong movies, I don't think anybody would tell you that they're great, but they certainly had an impression on me, and I still, I like King Kong versus Godzilla for what it is. I think it's fine. It's a very enjoyable movie, and I actually only recently found out that, like in the past couple months, the entire movie is on YouTube, both the American version and the Japanese version you can find. And so watching the Japanese version is like it's obviously the same movie, but it's a wildly different experience because there's so much stuff that's expanded on. And then there's like other, like kind of the more, we need to hold the American audience's hand through this scene. All that stuff is gone. Yeah. So it's like, it's cool. Like, I mean, I had a good time watching it as if for the first time in a lot of ways.
No, that's how I felt when I first saw the Japanese cut of that. I feel like besides the original Godzilla movie, that one has the most, like, we need some, like, hand-holding here, like you said. And it changes the plot so much in a way. But they're actually both good movies. I really like the American version. Like, I like the reporter guy and the scientist guy. Like, they're ingrained in my psyche from like when I was a kid. So I'll always enjoy that version of it, Yeah. But King Kong Escapes, I really like. I think that's a fun movie with Mechanic Kong.
Yeah, Mechanic Kong. I'd be curious to see if that pops up in the MonsterVerse. I don't think so, but
you never know, actually. Because now they got the tech from Mechagodzilla. So Mechanical Kong.
They're like, who's that guy that beat our big fake Godzilla? Let's make a big Mechanical Kong, put it in the Hollow Earth. We're gonna fight him again. Yeah,
why not? I mean, I really feel like the next Kong movie has to be a full like Hollow Earth movie.
I think so. Yeah, like, it seemed like that's the way they're kind of like gearing up towards the end. At the end of Godzilla versus Kong, it seems like Kong's in the Hollow Earth now. That's just where he's going to be, and Godzilla can have the surface and the Earth and everything. And
king above, king below.
Basically, yeah. They don't need to even cross over at this point anymore. They can just completely like be independent of each other. Yeah. I did hear there supposedly like some rumors about a son of Kong in this universe. I don't know how.
I heard about that. Yeah.
I don't know like what direction they're going to go with that, but I'm on board. I'd be curious. The MonsterVerse has more often than not impressed me. So
how did they get to a son of Kong though? Like, how would they get there?
Yeah, I don't know. Like something in the Hollow Earth, I guess.
I don't. Yeah, it's kind of weird. I don't know. I always like felt like if Godzilla was gonna get killed in this movie, it would have been awesome if there was like a baby Godzilla that is found at the end, and then like Kong has to raise baby Godzilla.
That's the son of Kong. It's actually just a Godzilla. Yeah. Like that's the thing too. Like every time there is a second Godzilla, it's always like an egg or something. They just are like, well, here you go. This is what we got. And like with Kong, I don't know if he can get away with that. So like they'd have to come up with something, and I don't know how they would.
Hmm.
One of the things I'm actually curious about is I need to still not a
Yeah.
I just want Megalon in the MonsterVerse. Like nobody takes him seriously anyway, so just put him in. Like
Some like alien cockroach monster.
yep, comes from
There's got to be
underground.
more aliens, you know. Like I think there's gonna be more aliens because it's like Godzilla is pretty much who's beating Godzilla at this point from Earth, right? Like
Yeah, well, they've already established King Ghidorah as an alien in the King of the Monsters, so we know we exist in a world where these aliens they're out there. So like there could very easily be some space Godzilla or something like that where it's like, oh, here we go. We're just going full right on into it.
No, totally. I mean, it's definitely a place they could go. It's also something they could build to if they decide to go like the Marvel route, where like they build like, oh, aliens are here now, you know, and they're building towards like this big alien monster invasion where you have like Gigan and like Mecha King Ghidorah, or you know, like all of these creatures, Megalon. But I feel like maybe you build to that. I would, you know, I would like to see something like that happen in the MonsterVerse at this point.
Yeah, I mean, like
instead of like blowing it all at once, because there's things you can do in the MonsterVerse to get there. Right now, you know, I really want to see Biollante in the MonsterVerse. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Cool. That was actually one that I was kind of on the fence about, like buying that Special Colors Biollante. Like I was like, still haven't pulled the trigger. I'm like, I don't know if that's going to happen. It's just a little above the budget that I want to spend. Yeah. And I say that as I just bought this giant Mezco King Kong. So like, whatever. But yeah, it looks so impressive. I like how it looks, but I just haven't been able to convince myself to pull the trigger on it.
Yeah, I haven't gotten it because I have the original.
Yeah.
But it's so worth getting, man. Like really, like if you're gonna make another big purchase, that's worth getting. It's a really nice piece, and I don't know, Biolante's just so awesome. In the MonsterVerse, it would make a lot of sense to have, because it's so easy to like turn Skull Island into Biollante.
Oh yeah, okay.
Like the entire island.
Yeah, we never do really like get the full explanation of what happened. They just tell you the storm like ruined it, basically.
Right. So I think that would be something cool they could do. So that would be where I would go next for a Godzilla movie, would be a Biollante movie, but like incorporate or you have this already made type of plot there, you know, something's going on Skull Island. So I want to ask you about the Kong stuffed animal behind you, that big puppet
this
looking
thing.
that guy. No, yeah, the big one. Yeah, that guy.
There we go. This thing I got the first time around. I got this as a kid. This came out in 1991 by Multi Toys Corporation. I don't know why this thing exists. There was no movie at the time. There was no like Kong tie-in, like promotional material. Like this was just kind of a one and done thing. There was this, and there was like a hand puppet that was the same like plastic head with like a littler body, which I had as a kid as well. And I got thinking about this like a few months ago, and I was like, let me check eBay for this. And a lot of them were a little pricier, but this one I ended up getting for about $30 shipped.
That's awesome.
Which honestly, like as I look at the original like Toys R Us price tag, remember that? $14.99, which include like when you put the shipping on top of it, I basically got it for retail price, which kind of unreal. But yeah, I have no answers for why this thing was a product that you could buy. Like it's just one of those things. Anytime I ask anybody about it, they're like, if they even remember it, they're like, well, I don't know. It was just King Kong.
That's so amazing. Like, yeah, I remember when you first showed that, and I'm like, that is incredible. Like, I've never seen that before. That
was one of the many like struggles, I think, of growing up in the United States with like an interest in the big monsters and the kaiju and that kind of stuff, is because it was pretty limited at that time, especially in like the 90s. Because like you could get that one, was it the Imperial Godzilla, I think, with the silver chest and the red mouth? Yeah, like, but that was it. You weren't getting any other Godzilla.
Did you know there was an Imperial Kong?
It's like a smaller, like black one, right? It's all black, and it's
I
like
think so, yeah.
I think I had that one. Yeah, you can just move his arms, and that was about it. But yeah, if it's the same one I'm thinking of, I do remember that one. But yeah, like this is like pre Trendmasters and stuff. So like Godzilla wasn't getting figures at the time.
Yep.
And so yeah, if you're interested in that kind of stuff, your avenues were pretty limited in those days. So stuffed animal Kong was like that's all you're getting.
That's incredible that exists. I don't remember that at all. Mario Sonic Gamer says, I could see Biollante coming from the Hollow Earth, but I say instead of it fighting Kong, Kong fights it. Sure. I mean, you could do that. I mean, it depends if Toho would allow you to do that, right? Because Biollante is a Toho character. So, it just depends if Toho would allow it to be in a Kong movie, which is not theirs. So, I don't know.
I'm wondering how fast and loose they're ready to play with those rights. I mean, like for the MonsterVerse, you basically got all of your, A-list main event monsters that you needed from Toho. And so they're like, all right, cool. They're probably pretty happy with the representation in the American movies, and they've done justice to these monsters. Cool. Awesome. Like if this series continues, is Toho going to be ready to just be like, here you go, you can use Biollante, sure, whatever. Like, just keep making good movies is all they probably would want. But I have heard Toho is a little like notoriously like possessive of their IP, and like they don't want it to be shown in a certain light or
right.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I think that was a thing with NECA. Like Toho would only license them the Godzilla character, but none of the other monsters.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. That's what they said. Just
they say a lot though, don't they?
Yeah, just from a few other things that I know about. I'm not 100% sure.
Neither am I, and that comes from a Super 7 interview where they were just like, "Oh no, we offered them money." Basically, is the solution.
So okay, so yeah, that's right. Super 7. That's right. Brian Flynn actually said that. Right. So I could say this story now. Back in, what was it, 2005, the company that did the King Kong comic that I lettered, I was writing at the time too. We came up with a Godzilla pitch because we figured, hey, we're doing King Kong, right? So we came up with a Godzilla pitch that I was writing, and the director of the company, it was like, all right, so let's try to get in touch with Toho and see if we could get the license, because at that point Dark Horse lost the license, right? And this was before
IDW. For Godzilla. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So I actually was able to get in touch with Toho. Like I wrote Toho and they actually wrote me back.
That's cool.
And I was like, what? I was like, my job is done. I made contact with Toho. And I made contact with Toho. I introduced them to the director of the company. I don't want to name the company right now because things kind of went south. And they pitched my script of what I wanted to do, and I'm not going to say what I wanted to do either. With it, because just in case I ever get a chance to write Godzilla,
I've had this all these years. We're gonna make it happen now.
Like who knows? But they pitched it to them, and they were like, "Cool, let's do it. Here are the fees. Here are the licensing fees." And that's when things went like really south, because we could have gotten any character we wanted if we paid their fees.
Per character.
Yeah. And it was like an extraordinary amount for each character. And they were going back and forth, working out deals. And I was on this whole chain of emails, and I just saw it going away. Like, it's going, isn't it? Yeah. It's not going to happen. And then they got into a fight, like through email, and it was like, it got really ugly. I was like, oh, get me off this chain, please.
Take me out of this.
So it was really bad, but I did learn that, like, yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy to actually get the characters if you have the money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
that makes sense because every time you ever see like Toho licensed stuff, like on the back of a box, for example, like you get a copyright little logo for every single monster in the movie.
Mhm.
So like you got Mothra and Gigan and Rodan and all of them right there. It's not under one umbrella. Like they all got their own paperwork you got to fill out, I guess.
Yeah. No, I just think NECA could have done it and just chose not to. Also, like Godzilla sells. And everything else would have been a gamble, and sometimes it's hard to like make more of the molds, like because that's what NECA likes to do, So, as evidenced by 1 zillion Kongs already, and a span of not even a year yet,
Yeah.
They explain in Skull Island in the novelization, Ghidorah's storm system made Skull Island's system worse.
Oh, okay.
But then the account says, didn't a vampire bat kaiju mess up the weather at Skull Island? I don't know. Oh, is that in like the comic?
Maybe.
I do know that there was a prequel comic. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that at all. I didn't read that.
I haven't gotten the chance to. Yeah, I mean, I'd be curious, just a little tie-in stuff to see how we got to where we were at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. There's a few new people in the chat. What's up, Harrison? What's up, Joshua? What's up, Godzilla and Kong? Hey, Godzilla and Kong. Nice to have you.
I know those guys.
Nice to have you. Let's see. I think the book said, I'm curious about this bat thing. Said that a bat kaiju hated sunlight and they woke him up on Skull Island while looking for the hollow earth. Huh. I'm curious now. I am curious.
I might have to take a look at that comic.
Yeah. I'd imagine, Joshua says, I imagine that Biollante would spawn from the Titan radiation from the King of the Monsters. They showed San Francisco covered in a whole lot of foliage, making its own ecosystem. Ooh, yeah. I mean, that itself could be Biollante.
They almost go like a full-on like oh god, what was that? Like Mechagodzilla City, where the whole thing, the whole terrain is just
anime.
Biollante. Yeah. What'd you make of those, by the way? Those the anime trilogy.
I'll tell you in a second. Let's just keep going here. And the bat can control the weather a la Dracula, so it destroyed Skull Island. So it's all Alexander Skarsgård's fault. Okay. That's interesting. So the anime, I found them a bit boring and a bit depressing. So I liked when Godzilla was on screen.
Yeah.
Like, he looked cool. The animation for Godzilla was really cool. But I wish, and I wish they did more with Mechagodzilla because I like that design.
Yeah. The brief, like, glimpse of the design that you got.
Yeah. So, but yeah. Like it'd be cool. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Biollante City. Right. San Francisco becomes Biollante City.
I'm kind of in the same boat with you on the anime movies. Like, I remember enjoying the first two when I watched them, but I've never had anything pulling me to watch them again. So I was like, oh, I guess maybe didn't like them as much as I thought.
Yeah. I tried to watch them with my kid. Yeah. I tried to watch them with my kid the second time. And it was like, he just walked off.
There's not much there to hold my interest, let alone like a kid's interest.
Yeah,
so,
no.
And the third one really just did nothing much for me at all. So I'm curious.
The new anime looks really good.
Yeah, that one I'm more interested in just based on like the designs and the things that we've seen. Looks like it's going to be a lot more monster heavy. So yeah definitely.
Yeah, I watched the first episode in Japanese without any subs, and it was cool, but I didn't understand really what was going on. Yeah. So I'm just gonna wait. Like, I know there's fan subs out there now, but like I'm just gonna wait till the official subs, come. It's supposed to be in June on Netflix.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah. We don't have to wait that long for him. Count again says Singular Point is like a big, wonderful apology for those anime. I hope so.
They won me over as soon as they're like, "Here's Jet Jaguar, go crazy."
I know. I love how Jet Jaguar looks.
All right.
I would love like a monster arts of Jet Jaguar and Godzilla of the from this movie. I think they look great. I hope there's more than just the movie monster series stuff of them, because I do like the designs.
Yeah,
not all of them, but I like some of the designs.
Well, yeah, I mean, like there are a few that I just like. I don't know if I would have gone that direction, but like honestly, like as their own standalone thing, I'm fine with them changing certain things around. Like, I'm
definitely
totally cool with like that. Basically across the board, like if it fits its source, go for it.
Yeah.
But like, Monster Arts. I mean, like I would just like any Jet Jaguar and Monster Arts. Like just
seriously, give me the original, please. That's...
Yep. And Anguirus, where is he? Where is Godzilla's like boy from day one?
Right? How is that possible that we don't have an Anguirus in this line?
I'm just hoping that like Super 7 is able to like get some of those holes filled in the collection.
They're gonna do it. They're gonna do everything. Kaimo saying, if I've been keeping up with SP, and let me tell you, it's really, really good. They do some really cool stuff.
Nice. Okay. I'll be excited then.
I am very excited about that. Be warned, Godzilla Single Point Science is very esoteric. 100 times more complicated than Shin Godzilla. Great.
I mean, Shin Godzilla, like, yeah, I mean, I wasn't following the science as they were talking about it necessarily. I was kind of getting like the dumbed down version when the guy ended up explaining it. I was like, okay, I'm the audience member that needs that guy in the movie. Fine. Like they're gonna spray a hose in his mouth and that's gonna beat him, I guess. Okay, I'm on board. You know what? Fine. The movie's good enough to hold my attention and get me like.
Shin Godzilla, like the first time I watched it, I was like, I do not know how I felt about that movie. It was like, but then when I saw it again, I actually liked it a lot more.
I basically went in with like a totally like, all right, let's see what this is all about, because I knew it was going to be like wildly different based on like the few things that I'd read. I tried not to spoil too much, but like I got to see it actually in the theater when it was out a few years ago, and it was a lot to keep up with because it's all subbed and
I'm like, a million words on screen at once.
Always. And some of them are just like, here's what this character is. And I did like part of that I actually appreciated, because there was like the little like one of the running like small bits of humor in the movie, whereas like the character who kept getting more and more like job descriptions, like as by the end of the movie he's got like 5 different jobs he's supposed to be doing because people keep dying or whatever. Like it's like, oh, I like that. That's fine. No,
I thought it was good, and it gave the movie like a really nice look to it design wise. So I enjoyed that honestly too. And again, I liked it more the more I saw it.
Yeah, on repeat viewings, like some of that humor kind of comes through a little bit more too. Like where they're like, oh, we have to have a meeting about this, and everybody gets up and basically walks into the next room and sits down, and that's their meeting. Like it's the same group of people. They couldn't have just stayed put. I'm like, I like that. Like,
yeah, I like it. Ghost asks you, Captain, did you manage to pre-order SSJ for Goku?
I did. One of my friends actually runs Asteroid M. It's a comic shop, I think, in the UK, and he was just like, did you ever get a chance to get that? And I'm like, nope. How's that shipping rate looking? And he's like, it's actually not that bad. I was like, okay, cool. Thank you. Let's do it. So I did lock in a pre-order. Thankfully, nice. I won't miss that figure.
Very cool. Took all those captions as satire of the information age where you're in. I agree. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. The more you watch that movie, like the better the satire gets too.
Yeah. The funniest part of Shin Godzilla was the wet noodle joke. Which, yeah, I don't remember the wet noodle joke.
I'm trying to think. Like for me, the funniest part of the movie is like early on in the beginning where they're about to have the press conference and the guy's up there, the prime minister is like, well, this is too big. It can never exist on land. Its weight would collapse.
And then it's on land.
and then the guy comes up and whispers and the guy's like, what do you mean? And then sure enough, yeah, they just hard cut to Godzilla on land, which it works so well as like one of those movie moments where they're explaining to the audience like, yeah, we know, but who cares? Here he is.
Fire Tyzilla missed it. Just made it. What did he miss? Go ahead, Captain. Tell him everything he missed.
Well, all right. Might just scrub the thing back and start from the beginning because like there was a lot. We've been going
a while. So, Captain, what are you going to be doing next? We're gonna actually bring it to a close in the next 5 minutes, I think.
All right.
Hour and a half is a good.
It's been
Sounds
it's been definitely cool having this this conversation. I'm for me, I'd like to continue my Kong thing. I still got some wrestling ideas I want to do. I have a second wrestling account on Instagram called Super Tiger Pro Wrestling where there's smaller clips. It's just, you know, little 5-10 second clips that go up every once in a while. And you know, again, as those get more expanded and more complete, they'll probably end up on my YouTube channel as well. But I've been having fun doing these smaller like
Do you
clips.
feel? Wait, hold on one second. Actually, now you're saying this. Are you more of a wrestling fan? You know what I'm saying? Like, are you more of a fan of doing the wrestling than, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Than like actually watching it and like keeping up with it. I think at this point, probably just because with the amount of figures and with the amount of characters that are around, like there's certain things like you'll never get in real wrestling. So like, you know, one of my favorites is like Vader. Now he's been dead a couple of years, so you're not going to get Vader today. But I can put him on Super Tiger. He beat up Finn Balor a couple of months ago. Like, that's cool. I like just stuff like that. Like, wrestling is in a lot of ways very similar to like comic books, but
definitely
also mortality is a thing for these real people. So, you know, I can kind of overlook that and I can put in whoever I want and have them do, you know, I just try and keep it as in character as I can. So like Vader's not going to be doing moves that Vader didn't do, you know, like it's just, I don't know, suspension of disbelief, an extra step above what you would normally like suspension of disbelief with a regular wrestling match.
That's really cool. I really think that's awesome because it's like, it's a great creative outlet to be able to do wrestling. Like for me, from comics and having, you know, grown up with wrestling, I always, you know, thought they were very, very similar. And I've always, one of the running things at DC Comics when I worked there was I had a, like, whoever would listen to me on Tuesday, like a little rant that I would have called Rewriting Raw.
Nice.
And it would be just me talking about what I would have done. A lot of people wanted me to make a YouTube channel of it. I just didn't feel like it.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things where it's just like wrestling is such a good vehicle for like these fun storylines. And I could totally see like with the figures just getting really involved in that.
That's definitely
up in it.
That's what I think is part of what's so fun and so ridiculous about wrestling is that the end result, no matter what, is always a wrestling match. Like there's like things on wrestling where like characters are like kidnapping each other's kids and doing it. I'm like, that should end in a court battle, not in a wrestling. But no, they're just gonna have a fight.
Yeah.
All right, fine. And like with these action figures and everything, it gives you a chance to even be more over the top than even actual pro wrestling is in some ways. So it's like, you know what? Yeah, it's fun. I like it.
That's awesome, man. That is very awesome.
And in case,
go ahead.
For anybody interested on my YouTube channel, I do have like Godzilla stuff too. I have like a 20-minute long Godzilla movie that I did stop motion of, and it's a whole thing. It's called Aftermath. Came out before King of the Monsters, and it has a lot of similaries to what ended up happening in King of the Monsters. So people like to be like, "Oh, look what you did! You influenced them." I'm like, no, I didn't. I'm a guy in a side room in my apartment making a YouTube video. I had nothing to do with that movie, as cool as I think it was. But yeah, that's awesome. Like that's fun. Kaiju people, I think, would get a kick out of it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Kaiju folks. I mean, if you're not subbed to Captain, you know, definitely go check him out. Wet Noodle was when the guy got his noodle bowl cold and soggy and said, "I knew the show was going to be tough." I think I do remember that, actually. The newly point. That's right. I do. Yes, I remember that guy. That guy was fun.
Yeah, everybody just keeps increasing in their like job importance because the people above them just keep getting killed. Yeah, I like Shin Godzilla. I'm due for a rewatch, I think.
Yeah, you know, it's like my son wants to watch it, but I'm like, I don't know if you're gonna really like it. It's like, you know, there's a lot of reading, and you barely read, you know. So it's one of those things where I just don't think he's he thinks Shin Godzilla is cool because he's seen a lot of clips, but he doesn't understand that most of the movie is like in boardrooms.
Yeah, the satire might not click necessarily. It's like, well, this is just basically people doing politics and trying to figure out how they're going to get this, situation handled. Meanwhile, the situation is running through the city and knocking everything over and blowing up the military. It's like, all right, I liked it. But yeah, if I was probably like 7 or 8, I would have been like, where's that Mechagodzilla one? Let's put that one on instead. Or it was the Mothra one or something, like where he's fighting another big monster and it's more fun for a kid.
Definitely. So guys, check out Captain's Instagram as well. Like there's, a lot of content that goes to the Instagram before the YouTube. But if you're, into reviews like I have, he has a nice catalog of reviews on the channel as well. So definitely give a check to all that, especially that recent Mezco Kong, that big giant Mezco Kong. It was his last review, and that was really awesome. And it made me sad that I didn't get that one.
I'm very sorry.
After I watched the review, I was just like, oh man, I should really get that. But like, I don't know if I can get it right now, but let me go look. And it's just like BBTS is sold out on it now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, and they had the best price for it too.
Yeah, they did. It was a little under retail, so I was happy about that.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I'm going to do it.
What are you going to do? But yeah, Captain, thank you for stopping by and kicking off a new, like, fresh, I'll call it a fresh season of hanging out with, like, pals from YouTube. So very, very cool to have you, man, and to finally chat like this. So it's been cool going back and forth on the channels, but it's very cool to actually have you on the channel and talking about a lot of stuff that we love here. So
definitely, man, 100%. So long time coming. We we initially spoke about this some time ago, and I'm glad we finally got the chance to set it up and make it happen.
Definitely. And thank you guys for watching. We really do appreciate it. If you didn't get a chance to see the stream like fire didn't, go back and check it out because we talked about a lot of really cool stuff. We checked out Captain's stop motions of his Kong, which is really great. You should go check it out. If you're not here, then go check it out on his Instagram right now because it is worth watching. And until next time, peace out, peeps.